Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, September 17th, 2025. I am Yvette Points with the details. Approximately 2,700 laptops are set to be distributed to primary school teachers across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as to second-year students at the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Community College. Speaking on his weekly program on NBC Radio today, Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves announced that the distribution to college students will take place soon, with around 1,300 laptops allocated for them.
We're about to give out the laptops. I got the final number, well, at least the tentative number for the community college is about 1,300 and something of them in the first year. But the numbers have gone up. My concern is whether when that and it fifth form, whether we're going to have enough, but we'll finalize those numbers tomorrow. If we have to get some more, we have to get some more.
The laptop distribution program was budgeted at a cost of $3 million. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Gonsalves also spoke about the country's development, noting that major infrastructural and social projects have been successfully undertaken under the current administration. He expressed confidence that these accomplishments would resonate with voters as the country heads toward general elections, stating his belief that the people of SVG will once again place their trust in the Unity Labour Party. He also highlighted the youthful composition of the ULP's slate of candidates.
I am 79 years old. Not good, I'm in good health, and you can see if I'm talking, my head is all there and the writings which I'm doing, and I'll talk about that just now. Then there is Jimmy and Curtis in their 60s. And then everybody else is between 34, 35, and 53. The oldest of the other 13, the oldest of the other 12, sorry, is Camilo. At 53. It's an amazing story, you know, and it's happening before your eyes. And we have to bring it to your attention so that you will see. And while we are doing all these macro things and so forth, they're not just in the sky. They're dealing with people in the communities and in the villages. And people's lives and living are far better than in the year 2000.
Prime Minister Gonsalves confirmed that the date for the next general election will be announced before the end of the year. While an official date has not yet been given, it is widely expected that Vincentians will go to the polls in November. Minister of Finance, the Honorable Camilo Gonsalves, has disclosed that the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has reclaimed approximately 650 acres of land on Canouan that had been leased to a developer several decades ago. Speaking on Monday at the National Tourism Conference, Minister Gonsalves emphasized the government's urgency in seeing tangible development within the hospitality sector. He pointed to the Canouan project as a key example of stalled investment. Gonsalves pointed out that the land on Canouan was leased to a developer many years ago, but no meaningful development has taken place.
Examples. There was, many years before we came into office, 650 acres of Canouan was leased to a developer. And the developer got the land by lease for less than a song. Leased it for 650 acres, about $16,000. But of course, in exchange, a lot of money was supposed to be spent, and a considerable amount of money was spent to develop the hospitality space in Canouan. But for the last decade, nothing has happened there. Nobody has bought villas. They haven't updated, they haven't improved the golf course, they haven't invested. And post-burial, they did nothing.
The finance minister explained that after years of inaction on the part of the developer, the government initiated a formal process to reclaim the land. He stressed that the reacquisition was conducted through proper legal channels and is now fully under the ownership of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Gonsalves said the reclaimed land offers new opportunities for national development and community benefits.
The government said there are levers that we can pull to ensure that this prime real estate works for the benefit of the people of Canouan, the people of the Grenadines, and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines more widely. And so we have said to this developer, look, you don't seem as interested as we seem in getting Canouan to be an engine of development. So here what? We'll buy it back from you. So we've written them and we've said, give us back our land and we will pay you fairly to do that. But we believe that hospitality can be developed more expeditiously and more equitably in the Grenadines. So we take it back.
The minister also noted that the government is currently exploring new investment opportunities for the site with a focus on sustainable tourism and local involvement. In addition to the Canouan lands, the government has also repossessed the site formerly earmarked for the Black Sands Resort project. That site, he confirmed, will now serve as the location for the upcoming Marriott Hotel development. The New Democratic Party cares, declared Andrew John, the NDP candidate for South Windward, during a well-attended village meeting held in Simon over the weekend. John used the gathering to strongly criticize the current state of infrastructure in the area, particularly the deteriorating road conditions in the nearby communities. He described the situation as unacceptable and pointed to it as a glaring example of government neglect.
They have shown us the level of disrespect that they have for the people of Simon. They have shown us that they just don't care about our affairs. And so, even after that demonstration, the roads are still the same. As a matter of fact, they have gotten worse. And this has been going on for almost 20 years. Now tell me, what kind of government has its people in this kind of condition? I brought you here for you to see for yourself. So you could talk to the people of Simon and let them know that the New Democratic Party cares about you. And within our first term, this whole road will be fixed.
John emphasized that under an NDP administration, critical infrastructure would receive immediate attention, including a comprehensive plan to repair and maintain rural roads that have been neglected for years. In addition to infrastructure, John spoke about the importance of youth development and economic empowerment. He pledged that the NDP would reintroduce skills training programs across the country, making them more accessible to young people and those seeking alternative career paths.
Skills training for our boys and girls must be put back in schools at an early age. They have no right to take it out in the first place. So that when our children get to at least Form 3, they must be competent in some area. They refuse to do that. And in South Windward, check yourself and see if we have any technical institute in South Windward. We have none. And we produce some of the best tradesmen in South Windward. Stops, Victoria Village, Bible, you name it. Simon. We produce some of the best tradesmen. And the skills are being lost because we refuse to teach our children at a young age.
John also outlined the broader vision of the New Democratic Party, emphasizing its commitment to national development and inclusive growth. He said the goal is not just to win elections, it's to build the country up and make it successful. He said that means improving infrastructure, strengthening education, supporting small businesses, and creating real opportunities for all Vincentians, no matter where they live.
Listen to me, people. We are going to build this country under an NDP government. I have every confidence in our president, our leader, and as we say, the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have every confidence that he will lead us to a successful country. I have every confidence in my major and all my other colleagues that we will work together in the interests of our people. I tell them, I don't want to say anything because I tell you already, this election here is more than me and it's more than you. It's about our whole country. So don't try to attack me with no stupidness. We are going to win this election because the people are calling for change.
He concluded by assuring residents that the NDP stands for more than promises. It stands for care, respect, and tangible development that improves lives in every community. The meeting in Simon is part of the NDP's ongoing grassroots engagement campaign ahead of the next general election. The South Windward constituency, traditionally considered a stronghold of the ruling Unity Labour Party, is expected to be a key battleground. Welcome back. With a focus on the topic Reviving Reverence for God in SVG, a call for national transformation, Pastor Randy Boucher voiced concern about the troubling direction society is heading, warning that many behaviors and values now deemed normal are deeply concerning. Pastor Boucher, who was a panelist on the Police on the Beat program, urged citizens to critically reflect on the values shaping their lives and communities, emphasizing that genuine spiritual transformation begins at the individual level.
The way we held authority, we saw authority. Parents, every parent in the village was respected. We had a sort of reverence for the things of God and what represented God. I often say in terms of contrasting, when we were having crusades, you see persons passing and men will remove their hats as out of respect, because reverence for the presence of God that was there. Vehicles will pass and lower the music because they're passing a church. Sundays, I remember in my earlier when Block wasn't so even band and as such, because of the respect we have, right? And what we are seeing is that there's a shift. There has been a shift away from the respect for the things of God and what represents God, and even our traditional values as a nation, and what we have accepted as normal. It is very troubling.
Pastor Boucher further explained that societal change cannot be legislated or enforced. It must come from personal conviction and moral accountability. He encouraged citizens to embrace faith-based principles, not just as beliefs, but as daily practices that influence behavior and relationships. The pastor also highlighted the urgent need to engage with today's youth, identifying modern platforms such as technology and sports as vital avenues for positive influence. He added that the church must adapt its outreach methods, meeting young people where they are, rather than expecting them to conform to traditional modes of ministry.
We have changed somewhat by coming inside, and I remember doing a Bible course one time with a pastor who said sometimes, we are the light and we come to church, and that is the light coming to the light in the church, and then the world is in darkness and the people are out there. But what we do in the sanctuary sort of is not so attractive to them. It is pushing them away. We have to find new methods without compromising the word to take to them. When we were growing up as young people, we did not have phones and these things to attract us. So if there was a crusade and if there was unity, we were just happy to get out of the house and to go to church. There was nothing else. Home was didn't even have television in our homes at the time. But these young people, they have all these things. So why not for the church? Aaron is a footballer. We have a football team.
Okay.
Why don't we go sports evangelism? That is something that we can do. Why don't we have a netball team? We have young netballers in our congregation. We go in the community and find those young ladies who can play netball. We're not preaching to them, but when we gather as a team, we're praying before we go and play. And then our young people from the church on these teams now could model Jesus Christ. And the Jesus that they are seeing, it's from their peers.
Joining the discussion was Pastor Aaron Collis, who echoed Boucher's concerns and offered further insight into the broader mission the two are championing. A mission rooted in community revival, youth mentorship, and spiritual awakening. Collis acknowledged that while their movement has gained traction internationally, it has struggled to gain full support from the local religious community. He stressed the need for unity among churches, regardless of denomination, to collectively address the moral and social challenges facing the nation.
Support is not as we would have hoped for, but the purpose of revival is not so much for those who are lost, for those outside of the church. It really is for the equipping of the church. We hear about the light only going into the light, not going out into the world, and that is the great commission, to go into all the world. But I must say, we have a hand-on kind of gospel to us as ministers in this present time, from some men of old who will tell us, go out and invite people to come, without letting us know that was not Jesus' way. So somewhat the church still is in that sort of mood. And I often tell people, when you invite a young man who's not accustomed to this kind of things and they come in, it can do one or two things. And we hope that one of the things is that the Holy Spirit will envelope him and change his life. Most of the time he runs and he never comes back. Because that is not his area of understanding at the moment, you understand? When we talk about the ecclesia, most of the time it's associated with just church. But the ecclesia is a group of people, when you understand the word, a group of people who are gathered for a common purpose.
The episode concluded with both pastors calling for renewed focus on spiritual values, community engagement, and partnership across sectors, urging leaders, churches, and citizens to take active roles in shaping a more moral and compassionate society. The life and service of Miss Joy Brown, former headmistress of the St. Vincent Girls High School, was honored with a commemorative march, followed by her funeral service today, Wednesday, September 17, 2025. The march, held in recognition of Miss Brown's years of dedicated service to education and nation building, began at 9 a.m. from the SVG Community College Gap and proceeded to the Caliaco Anglican Church. Miss Brown was remembered as a devoted educator who guided and mentored generations of students during her tenure at the prestigious Girls High School. Her leadership left a profound and lasting impact on the school community and the wider Vincentian society. The event, themed A Celebration of Life, brought together past students, educators, former colleagues, and members of the public who joined in paying tribute to her enduring legacy. Organizers described the march as both a heartfelt farewell and a public acknowledgement of Miss Brown's invaluable contributions to education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. During the tribute inside the church, several individuals offered condolences and shared personal reflections on Miss Brown's life and influence, noting that her unwavering commitment to excellence in education has left an indelible mark on the nation.
She was very passionate about issues that affected women and girls in our society, and hence she issued a comprehensive release to draw public attention to the denial of justice for young females of the state. She was very deliberate with her suggestions, especially when it had held discussions in putting the guidelines of ACWA to govern. She was very instrumental with the introduction of the Shove Tuesday observance in her parish. There can be no doubt that Sister Joy was a pillar of strength with ACWA. A life we live is a legacy of joy and pride.
Joy Brown was a very generous person with her time. She gave freely of her time to many worthy causes and notable institutions. The Girls' High School was especially privileged to receive Joy's love. And I say receive her love because her life's work was centered on making the lives of our students better and ensuring that the legacy of the Girls' High School lives on.
You spoke many tongues, English, Spanish, French, but the one that mattered most was the language of care. Your porch, a sanctuary, a refuge, family laughter drifting through the breeze, spilling out against the view. Those who know, know.
She was a strong advocate for collective bargaining rights, many battles for gender equality, maternity leave, and remember that historic Coutts Agreement. She was part of that executive. And for the younger people, the Coutts Agreement at that time, when you become pregnant, you had to give up a job. And then they move it, they upgraded it to say you have to be married. So those of you who are workers now and enjoying 3 months maternity leave now, which we put on the books in 2005, when our brother Mike Brown was leading the government's team, you now enjoy 3 months maternity leave with pay.
The National Ozone Unit, the NOU, will visit 6 schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines this month to educate students about the critical role of the ozone layer in protecting human health, the science behind ozone depletion and recovery, and practical measures families can take to safeguard against harmful ultraviolet radiation. A news release from the unit says the school visits form part of initiatives to recognize World Ozone Day 2025. This year's World Ozone Day theme, From Science to Global Action, 40 years of the Vienna Convention, speaks of the Montreal Protocol, the landmark treaty to protect the ozone layer, built on scientific evidence showing how human-made chemicals were depleting ozone in the stratospheric layer of the atmosphere. The news release says since joining the protocol in 1996, SVG has consistently exceeded international targets and deadlines. Key achievements include eliminating all chlorofluorocarbons by 2007, 2 years ahead of schedule, and becoming the first English-speaking Caribbean nation approved for accelerated hydrochlorofluorocarbon phase-out in 2011. Between 2020 and 2024, St. Vincent and the Grenadines achieved complete elimination of harmful cooling chemicals while developing 4 comprehensive national standards covering energy efficiency and safe refrigerant handling. In 2022, SVG ratified the Kigali Amendment, the Nexus for Joint Ozone and Climate Action, introducing climate mitigation actions through the phase-down of high global warming refrigerant with emphasis on energy efficiency cooling equipment. The NOU says for this year's outreach, the educational sessions will reach students at Fairhall Government School, Kaliakwa Anglican, Sugar Mill Academy, Belmont Government, Belair Government, and Gome Methodist School. The school visits occur as the NOU continues implementing several strategic initiatives. These include developing comprehensive refrigerant waste management systems and strengthening regulatory frameworks with mandatory professional certification for technicians. The NOU says these ongoing efforts ensure that SVG maintains its track record of exceeding international environmental commitments while building technical capacity that serves the broader Caribbean region and global community. World Ozone Day, observed annually on September 16th, commemorates the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer. The protocol represents one of the most successful international environmental agreements, achieving universal ratification by 198 countries.